Hey Reddit. I've just had one shitty day, well two since I've been awake since the morning of the 19th. I don't even know where to begin with the sequence of events of all that's transpired. But the simplest way to say it is just like the title says. The love of my life, my wife, cheated on me. Sorry in advance if my words and shit are jumbled. I'm a mental mess. I'm absolutely devastated and crushed beyond words. Going to give some upfront details to simplify any possible question. I'm 26. I'm currently a stay-at-home dad to our 3-year-old daughter. She's 25. We've known each other almost 9 years and have been together as a couple for 8 as we just had 8th anniversary last month. We've also been married since the end of October last year. We're effectively high school sweethearts, I suppose. I've never been with another woman in any capacity, although when in high school, and after, had many opportunities. She's never been with another man until now. I found out yesterday the 19th after noticing an odd text message on her phone before she was supposed to go to work and was having a brief nap on the couch. I checked it out and discovered so much unnecessary shit from the past few weeks I felt like someone stabbed me repeatedly in the gut. I went and sat in our bedroom and read through most everything while crying. There are 3 separate people she was having conversations with that are relevant. All co-workers. The man she cheated with, a 44-year-old married man. Another man she was having rather explicit flirting with, he's 48. And common law with a woman and a girl 19 she's become friends with in the past few months. All conversations were hidden as private in her messaging app on her phone and password locked. By checking the message right as she received it, I seem to have bypassed the need to give the password though. Before I continue though, I must say, my wife has had a shit life. Her self-esteem, confidence, and general personal view have always been shit. She has struggled with suicidal thoughts based on her own perceived worth for years. She's never really had friends, and was a loner most of her life. She typically had one good friend at a time. But sadly most often these people just used her and were never truly there for her. Her father abandoned her and her family when she was 5. And she grew up with an ultra-strict totalitarian mother. There's more to it. But suffice to say she's grown up feeling unwanted and unloved by almost everyone she's ever known. Just recently she reached out to her mother again with a Christmas card and pictures of our daughter who she hasn't even met yet, but nothing came of it. A year before that was a long letter and nothing. And so on for the past few years. Over the course of our relationship she grew close to my mother and they loved each other. They could talk and formed a very close bond. Unfortunately, my mother died last February. Also her pet rabbit she had for 10 years died a week before that. In May her father died, which brought up many issues from her past, namely never having a father figure, and her issues with abandonment. She rekindled her extremely strained relationship with her sister who she hadn't talked to for years, namely because when we started dating her immediate family wanted control of her, and shit all over me, going so far as to spread lies of physical abuse amongst family and church friends. And yes, they're the holier-than-thou types. Her sister has 3 small children close in age to our daughter. My wife was hoping that finally we could move on from the past and be a big happy family, and it seemed possible. And that the sister would do so. Both of these women are stubborn and lack knowledge on how to fix relationships. So nothing happened for months on end until January when my wife just said fuck it with life and cut off contact. That seems to be when a lot of shit went down with her personality-wise. I caught her writing out another man's name girlishly in a notebook like elementary school kids might over and over in January. When asked about it, it was an innocent crush that will go away, and she claimed to look up to him reveringly. And over the month of February she grew very distant to me. She also started text messaging a whole lot more, from a handful in a given week to any one person to now sending nearly 1,000 to the 48 guy in the past couple weeks. And one day while trying to fix our phone's MMS abilities I spotted "I need a new husband" message to some random guy. She also started flirting with dudes saying it was just innocent harmless fun, and that she's not stupid and would never do anything. Until recently, she never expressed interest or has flirted with another guy our entire relationship. We've had a very rough year. In addition to deaths and family issues, she lost her job early in the year last year by fucking up while at work admittedly, and it took her months to find a new one, which she currently has and where these people have come from into her life. It's a factory linen cleaning type job, with a lot more of a mature crowd age-wise than she's used to working with. But they're very immature. I now have to admit all of our life problems and various things have gotten me down. If you asked me a few months ago, do I treat her right? I'd say no. I'd give you excuses. You'd probably think I was justified but still not okay for the woman I love as far as I'm concerned. We didn't stop having sex, but its quality and frequency went way down. We stopped spending any time together and our lives pretty much turned into just sitting in front of the computers. Everything became miserable. and there was no fun. We also started having extremely petty arguments caused by seemingly nothing. And these arguments always blew up to extremes. It eventually led to me in March telling her if she didn't change I would leave her, get a divorce and take our kid, and she'd never see us again. I threw my ring at her more times than I can count. I also escalated to lovely words such as cunt and telling her how she doesn't deserve me. Much yelling was had. But I also started getting colder over the past few months and honestly deliberately more sinister, hoping to kickstart her ass into doing something for our relationship. Stupid of me. I know of so well. All in all, not great. I've been the one person she's had in life who has been loyal to her no matter what and stuck by her, and then that shit happens. And now to the point. The details of her physical affair are simple. On Wednesday, 28th of March, she told me she was going out for coffee with a girl from work to talk. Instead, she went to meet this man. She says her intention was just to talk to someone, and it progressed into having sex in his van. She says that he initiated most things: first contact, the idea of going out for coffee, the physical contact, etc., but that she admits it was mutual. They used a condom and he didn't finish in her. A few days later, on March 31st, I made an effort beyond any effort I believed I could make. I talked to my father, who I hadn't spoken to ages, to watch our daughter for a few hours. Honestly, it's the first time we ever truly had away from her since her birth, due to various reasons. I got a hold of some old buddies through Facebook, which I hadn't used for well over a year, to maybe pump some life into us. I even contacted her sister myself and said she needs to stop and we just need to get together and hash shit out. That I can let go of what they did to us, and me in particular, for the sake of having a proper family and moving forward. And that night we went out to a lovely restaurant and had a wonderful date for the first time in ages. I was oblivious, obviously, to what she had done. In fact, I felt she may have done it already. I accepted that in my head and figured if she had, I'd find out why and see from there. But I did not know she had. In fact, I just looked at the texts again. That very night before, during and after we were out, she texted him, even called him honey, something that was once special and reserved for me, wishing him good night after I know we had sex. She has spent the past 3 weeks telling him through texts how amazing it was, that he has a much bigger dick than me, that she can't wait to have him again, that she craves his cock, that she wants his dick in her mouth. She told him she felt a connection and wanted that again, that she fantasizes about him. Pretty much shit any guy would love to hear. Reading the messages, his responses were rather cool, to say the least, and unreceptive unless she offered up another time. They seemed to have tried setting up further encounters, but usually he kept postponing. Until this past Saturday the 14th, when she left for work earlier than normal, using this 19-year-old girl as an excuse. I forgot we had a union meeting, and she wanted to meet for coffee first. That day she gave him an unprotected blowjob. She finished him by hand. The texts obviously continued through this week. The text from him that caught my eye and made me uncover all of this was, horny aren't you? As a response to her saying, can we meet up tonight, please? To quickly address the 48-year-old guy and the 19-year-old girl. The 19-year-old girl is a self-described whore. She sleeps around quite frequently and brags about cheating on her partners, and is a frequent heavy user of weed and alcohol, something my wife and I do not do. Nothing against sex-positive women or anything, but she's not the best influence, to say the least. She has encouraged my to cheat on me and even joked about it in her texts. She's also the go-to excuse my wife uses for why she texts so much or where she's going. The 48-year-old is a guy who oversteps his bounds, and they have rather inappropriate flirting going on, such as a couple days ago, lovely talk about her masturbation habit and what she does in the shower, and a few days prior a dream she apparently had of him. These two people have engendered a culture of this shit around her. Now, after I found the texts, I didn't explode. I didn't freak out. I wanted to smack her right in the mouth, but I could never hurt her. I waited and talked to her rationally. We did lots of talking all night, got rid of our kid for a bit, went out for a walk, and I have been up all night and day till now. I went through her phone top to bottom. I asked about every single thing I could, said everything I could. She cried for the first time I've seen in, I'd almost say, years. She was almost uncontrollably sobbing after I started crying, asking how she could do this to me. Her explanation for her continued texts and their content. She did this before I made an effort, and I'll say now I even looked at my own phone, and the very day before I sent her some very harsh messages about how our relationship is over and done. That she's continued because she's insecure, gullible, and stupid and doesn't know how to stop. She didn't think it would get this far, and the blowjob was apparently the result of feeling obligated to please this guy so he'd stay her friend or not tell people at work. She says that a third encounter would have never actually happened, but she just wanted to see what he would say and do, because she apparently realized and decided that he's using her as a piece of ass. Everything just got carried away at a time when she thought she'd lost the man she loves and could never have me back. She wanted comfort and someone to connect with. Apparently the sex was lousy, and not what she expected. It wasn't like it is with me. She got no real enjoyment out of it. She has also said it was somewhat exciting, and that the mundane drudge of our lives has been getting to her for a long time. She says she feels incredibly guilty and disgusted with herself. She feels very dirty. I noticed she was taking inordinately long showers in extremely hot water. She usually bathes in lukewarm at best, scrubbing herself very hard frequently, especially the week or so after the first time. I didn't make the connection until now. She has been distant and lost in her thoughts more often than not. She started flirting because she liked the attention and it made her feel good and special. The cheating with this man was a result of someone actually listening to her and talking to her. She has not once accused me or stated anything as my fault either. They made me feel special. Because you don't anymore. Or shit like that. In no text or otherwise to my knowledge has she indicated she loves him or anything else really. She says the boasting and telling him how bad she wants him was to boast his ego and make him like her. She doesn't know why. Apparently she didn't mean any of it truly and has been getting caught up in the lifestyle of this people and all this secrecy, and just wanted them to accept her. She's terrified to be ostracized from work and is afraid of people finding out. Thus why she wanted to keep these two guys happy. She says she regrets everything but doesn't know what to do. She figured and knew I would find out eventually. She secretly hoped I would, so I would break up with her once and for all and leave. Because she says I deserve better. And our child deserves a better mother on that note. Much to my bother. She has been very absent from our child's life the past while and seemingly wants nothing to do with her. She thinks no one will ever love her, and doesn't understand how I can. Everyone else abandoned her, even her own parents. How on earth can I love her is what she doesn't get. Even when it comes to this guy, she asked if he could ever love her. He ignored that outright. She asked what he felt when they had sex, and for him it was just sex and that this was a friends with benefits thing, nothing more. And the one time she said she was ugly and unattractive to him, she has esteem issues with her stomach and some other things, he very awkwardly sidestepped it by bringing up beauty as in who sees it crap. I'm pretty sure this 44-year-old fuckstick noticed a vulnerable and shy woman who seemed to be having problems. From what I'm gathering, this is his thing at their job, going after the young girls. He went right for the daddy bait and fed her every line she wanted to hear and got what he wanted out of her. Not excusing her actions though, or even shifting blame. But it's obvious where his head was in this, and he's well aware of her having a husband and child. There's probably more. My mind is a friggin' jumble. I've been trying to type this up all day. So I guess to my question, how do I move forward? I'm not leaving her. She's fucked up in the head and needs help more than anything. Leaving ruins more than it fixes and is not my solution. I have made it abundantly clear though. Anything, absolutely anything ever happens again and I'm gone along with our daughter, I'd want some form of shared custody. Haven't said that to her. I've told her she is to never contact these two men again, their phone numbers, Facebook, etc. stuff gone and blocked, and I don't want her talking to the chick again. I know she must work around them on occasion, but that she can have no contact again. She was once a good, honest and decent woman with a heart of pure gold. We completed each other in all ways. She makes me laugh. She gets me. We share so much in common, and until recently everything just worked between us. Seriously, she was, and still actually is, the most precious person I have ever met. She can be a wonderful mother. She can actually be a wonderful anything really. But the past, I'd say 4 or 5 months, she has drastically changed and become highly destructive. She doesn't have any close friends to talk to, thus why she has been latching herself onto anyone at work that is nice to her. It's actually sad to see how desperate she can get and fearful that people are angry in her texts when someone doesn't reply to her. She has no best girlfriend to talk lady stuff with and wants one but doesn't know how to get one. In the past she's met some pretty great ladies, one of which she got really close to but unfortunately moved to a different city. She's never dealt with her lifelong family issues. She also has anger issues. Last summer she agreed to try and look into some counseling for that, but nothing came of it. The past year has taken a toll on her and I wasn't much help. She feels alone and like the world hates her. I want to help and have no clue. I've been talking to various people the past day or so about this to ease my mind and get advice, reaching out to some old friends and even family. Namely my father, who forgave my mother for cheating on him multiple times, and an old mutual friend of my wife. And I've also been trying to stay positive for our little girl. We've agreed that we will find counseling, although she has somewhat balked at the idea because of money. That we will go get tested for STDs together, and that she will go get a blood pregnancy test at the doctor. She can never speak to them again. We need to work on our family. I I think my brain and everything about me is going kaput. I'm going to put my wee one to bed and then crash.